I don't want any water. I don't want any juice. I'll tell you what I really want. Just shut up and give me my whiskey! 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 In a hammock. Whiskey in a hammock.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Whiskey in a Hammock. I'm Eric.
And I'm Chris.
And today we are reviewing Jefferson's bourbon whiskey. Well, Jefferson's bourbon.
Yeah.
Which is a 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof bourbon. It's manufactured and distributed by a company called Castle Brands.
Right. And it's made in Louisville, Kentucky, although I think it's made or it's processed or distributed in Canada and...
Well, I think it, it's bottled in the U.S. and Canada by Castle Brands.
Right.
So,
but it's, it's from Louisville, Kentucky.
mm-hmm.
And it is a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys.
Whiskeys, so it's
Whiskeys.
blended. It's blended with other whiskeys.
Just to let you guys know that it's not. They don't distill it.
Yeah, which is odd. I mean, that's an expensive process, and to start distilling your own whiskey.
Sure.
You know, as far as laws and regulations and everything. So it's. I feel terrible saying this because I'm sure there's plenty of other whiskeys or bourbons or whatever that we're gonna taste in the future that don't distill their own whiskey. In fact, if we were to start doing ours right now, we wouldn't distill our own whiskey. We'd have somebody.
Yes,
do
no,
it.
we would. Of course, we would.
So, well,
of course
yeah,
we would.
because if you don't know, we're millionaires. And so tell what's
Well, let's crack it open.
Yeah, heck yeah, let's give it a shot.
Crack it open. You pour, and while he's pouring, I'll tell you our review process.
Right.
But what we found out, basically, we open it straight from the bottle. Crack the seal, straight.
See?
You try it straight, and give it a sniff, see what it smells like. Give it a little taste. Then we put a couple ice cubes in. Let it melt just a minute, 2 minutes.
Cork.
Give another smell, another taste. Then almost the full melt, and another taste, another smell. And the reason we do that is because with the addition of ice, it can change the flavor and the smell.
And the smell. Yep. Greatly sometimes.
Yes.
This bottle is really cool.
I like that. Yeah, I like it too. Jefferson's on the back.
Yeah. Which is funny. We'll get into that a little later.
Yes.
But
well, with whiskey history.
Whiskey history. That was hard to say today.
Well, I mean, you're doing so good on the whole whiskey review because that's a tongue twister. I'm glad that you do it. Not me. Okay.
All right. So,
smell it?
hey, cheers.
We got to smell it first.
Oh well. All right. It seems a lot tamer than. I need to work on my nosing because I don't smell anything but alcohol ever in any.
Well,
of
yeah,
these
but the
that
maker's
we
mark,
do.
is sweet though.
It did have. Yeah, you're right.
Smell
That's
to
true.
it.
This one kind of has a little sweetness to it too, though.
All right. Well, cheers.
Well, cheers. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Whew, it's spicy.
Oh no, yeah, it definitely tastes a lot. Yeah, a lot of spice. A lot more spice to it.
For sure.
And that little kickback. That's called what?
Finish.
The finish. That's right.
That finish is a little hard for me anyway.
Well, it wasn't too bad.
It wasn't bad. Yeah,
But then like you said, I definitely taste a lot more spice. In the flavoring.
Yeah, it's good though. I like it.
Yeah.
It was good. So
Right.
should we add a couple ice cubes here
Yeah, we should.
before we do whiskey
History.
Whiskey history? That's hard to say today. So I always put like 2 or 3 ice cubes in myself. That's just the way I prefer it.
And I pretty much do the same, 2 or 3.
So today on whiskey history, basically we're just gonna go over
Jefferson's
the history of Jefferson's bourbon.
And it's a relatively new, 1997.
Yeah, which is I feel kind of bad because like in my head they already have 2 strikes because they don't distill their own stuff and it's young.
Right.
Like,
but
it doesn't mean it's not good. It's just,
and like you said, the interesting thing is that Trey Zoller.
Uh-huh.
Forget if we're not pronouncing your name correctly.
Yeah,
but
sorry.
That's what we think is. But Trey Zoller is a native Kentuckian, and his father Chet is a bourbon historian.
Which is pretty. That's awesome.
Yeah, but what is a bourbon historian? You just study whiskeys, or study bourbons?
How do you become one?
Is
Is that a college credit?
I don't know.
That'd be maybe if you go to the
can you make a good living at it?
University of Louisville.
Well, I mean,
right.
I mean, because when with Dave Pickerel, right?
Yeah.
Graduated from what, Louisville?
Louisville, yeah.
I think there's been more than just Dave. I think other people have gone there for what, chemical engineering?
Yeah, which would be huge.
It directly relates to what, distilling.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you want to become a master distiller, you should go to what, Louisville.
Louisville, apparently. Huh?
Yep.
We're not promoting Louisville, so just throwing it out there. As far as Trey, how do you say it? Zoller.
Zoller. That's my guess.
His whole family has kind of been in the business forever. It turns out, like he said, his dad, his father Chet, was a historian. Past relatives, including going all the way back to the 8th generation grandmother, was arrested for moonshining in 1799.
That's something to brag
pretty,
about. Yeah, I would.
That's pretty badass. If you
that
ask
is.
me.
I agree.
Their company was called McLean and Kyne, Cyne.
Oh, yeah.
Kyne.
Yeah. I'd go with that.
And then they sold it to Castle Brands, who has it now in 2005.
Okay.
Yep. The funny thing about Jefferson's is when they sold it to Castle Brands, apparently they asked him, how'd you come up with the name, the bottle, marketing, things like that.
Right.
And basically he said quote, I had no marketing budget. I simply wanted a recognizable face associated with history and tradition. So he said Jefferson and was like, yeah, it's
and that's
the
thing,
history behind it, and
right.
I'm just going to put him on the bottle. So
and, that's what I thought. Jefferson's bourbon. I thought, okay,
yeah,
so Thomas Jefferson, he had his own bourbon.
Yeah.
And so
George Washington did, so why wouldn't Thomas Jefferson?
Exactly. I didn't know that, Mr. Zoller just like, oh yeah, not even related. Yeah, Jefferson, put him on the bottle.
You want to hear a fun fact?
Sure.
Sam Adams beer.
Yeah.
The guy on the bottle isn't Sam Adams. It's
Oh, I think I've heard.
Oh, what was his?
Dave Pickerel.
Right. Anyway, it's not Sam Adams. It was like, God dang it! I shouldn't have even brought it up. Since I can't remember who was on it. But it's not Sam Adams on the bottle. It's somebody else. Yeah. So fail on my part, I guess, for not realizing who it was.
Okay. Well, and the other things, interesting things about Jefferson's bourbon is that they have a 4-step process where they distill, age, cut to proof, and bottling. And, so they put more focus into the maturation process.
Which means what? What's that mean?
I think the process of it, sitting in the cask, getting all the flavors, because obviously, I did a little research, and the whole reason they put it into the white oak barrels is the charring brings out the flavor.
Right.
Natural sugars from the wood will actually flavor, the whiskey.
That's awesome.
And
I appreciate it.
And the other thing is the, I didn't know what cut to proof, you know what cut to proof means?
No idea.
I had to look it up. Cut to proof means that when they take it out, when it's done fermenting, they add water to it. So they're cutting the proof. So they're
no kidding.
Cutting it, so that's why you get it down to 80. Well,
80
you can't have 180 proof bourbon.
Why not?
Probably kill somebody, I think. I think
I'd
there's
give
a limit.
it a shot.
Well, yeah. Then well, isn't that what moonshine is? I mean, there's no limit on moonshine, is there?
No, I think. Well, you can run your car off moonshine, can't you? Don't they have moonshine races and stuff like that?
All I know then, that moonshine started with, that's what started hot rodding, and of course, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, that's him. That's not me.
Yeah.
I know how to drive it. I don't know anything else about it. Cool. So that's whiskey history, or you want to keep driving in?
Well, but the other thing about whiskey history was what about how it's made? The cool thing, they about how they put it on boats, right?
Oh yeah, but that's specific to Jefferson's Ocean, though.
Well, yeah, but still, because they still, attributed to them. Mm-hmm. They decided, they thought that the rocking of the ocean. So they put it on boats and they set sail for 6 months. Jefferson's Ocean, like a different brand, different
variety,
yes.
Jefferson's.
But, like I said, that's interesting that they, almost like Metallica's Blackened.
How the sound waves. But this is literally using waves.
Yeah, real waves.
Right. You got to be pretty hardcore to just be like, I'm gonna put all these barrels of whiskey or bourbon in a boat and
go sailing
and legitimately sail it all over the world for 6 months just to see if it works out.
I mean, that wouldn't be a bad test. I would do it.
Yeah, heck yeah.
All right.
Let's go round 2. So the ice is, mostly melted, but
Oh yeah, see, I'm much sweeter.
you're much sweeter. Not a whole lot different, to be honest with you.
Well, to me, I think it tamed that spiciness.
Yeah, it did tame the spiciness,
So
but it's still pretty.
I think it made it smoother. To me, it made it, give it more of a easier to drink, smoother.
Yeah.
Tames that spiciness down, so it's
The
not.
finish isn't as hard.
No.
That's for sure.
True.
Yeah, it still bites me a little bit, but it's definitely not as hard.
Well, see, for me, I thought it was like, it was pretty calm.
You know,
I liked it on the
and
finish.
We're pretty consistent here too, because usually I really like it after the ice melts,
Mhm.
and you're not so much. And this one, it didn't change a whole lot. So I don't really like the second. I mean, I like it, but it's not. It doesn't follow the same trend as other whiskeys that we've done at the
Where it
second
made it better
taste
for you?
test. What's that?
So the adding the ice didn't make it better for you?
No, not really. Not really. I mean, it's smoother, but it's not better.
Okay.
Like usually, it tastes better the second after watered down a little bit. But anyway, it's good though. As far as whiskey news, now we're gonna do a little whiskey news, which is just sounds. This doesn't make any sense to me, because honestly, I thought we're doing barrels. There apparently there's a barrel shortage. Honestly, barrel shortage.
Hey, that's after I'm give him a break. That's one, two.
Right, two
sips.
whole sips of whiskey. That's going. I guess it's kind of an epidemic right now.
Yeah, I mean, and because we found out that there's a barrel shortage, and interesting that it's like in correlation with the
2007 recession.
the housing crash.
Yeah,
the housing
yeah.
market crashed, so lumber mills shut down, and
lumberjacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loggers. Yeah. So they weren't harvesting trees and white oak.
Yeah. Which is it. I feel kind of dumb because I thought all these places did their own barrels.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I thought obviously there are some.
Yeah.
I think Buffalo Trace does.
I think Jack Daniels does. I think.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I think I saw a little video of them making barrels, but I don't know. I always thought they each made their own barrels. So when he mentioned that about a whiskey or a barrel shortage, it didn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But so which kind of got me, we'll dive into whiskey history or whiskey news here a little bit more, but it got me thinking if you could reuse the barrels. I'm like, why not just reuse the barrels? And my research basically come up with it depends on the type of spirit that you use. Generally speaking, after curing and filling the barrels, a certain amount of time, that oak finish dims after after
Sure.
a while. So I looked it up to see how many times you could reuse a whiskey barrel, and my research had said 4 times.
No, I mean, which I think is correct, but I think that bourbon's different.
Sorry.
Bourbon, like from my research, what I looked up is that you can only use it once. You're allowed to use bourbon. You're only allowed to use it, so it has to be a brand new charred white oak barrel to consider it a bourbon. So if
And
you use
there's
it again,
laws and regulations about that too, right?
Well, no, and that's the great thing is that
Sorry, I'm sneaking some.
you're not waiting, really. Okay, this was cool. And on May 1964, the United States Congress recognized bourbon whiskey as a distinctive product of the United States by current resolution.
Good job, Congress.
Yeah, heck yeah. So now bourbon is officially American.
I like it.
Officially.
I like
Officially.
it.
By law.
So the weird thing is, are you done talking government and bourbon?
Well, yeah, I guess are we still talking about barrels?
Tidbit? Yeah.
Okay.
So, tell me if you came up with the same kind of thing, but
Okay.
Since 2010, there's been more than a 35% increase in barrel or bourbon sales, which
Right.
is huge.
Yeah.
And another crazy number is that the bourbon production levels surged more than 50% in 3 years.
Yeah.
From 2010 to 2013, according to the Kentucky Distillers Association.
Well, in the last decade, there was so 10, 15 years ago, there's only 70 distilleries. Now there's more than how many?
600.
600.
That's
So,
crazy. I'm not a craft beer guy myself.
Right.
I'm not a big fan, but those things are popping up everywhere. And it's
Well,
kind of like we
played
talked
out,
about
I think.
earlier. Well, yeah, it's played out, but that's transitioning into the whiskey game. It seems like.
Well, yeah. So now I think people are jumping into the. Well, I mean, like I said, with this, so you don't even need to distill your own whiskey.
Right.
So
yeah.
if you are a master
distiller.
Or no, because they don't distill it.
Oh, they don't distill it. Yeah.
So if you are, what was?
So could we go to a place and just be like, hey, will you make a bourbon for me?
I don't know. We should try that.
We should try that.
I wonder how many people hang up on us.
That's crazy though. The more it went from what to 600? 35?
70.
70
So
to 600.
Yep.
It almost seems like we should be in the barrel making business.
Well, and that's funny you say that. Do you know what barrel making is called?
Barrel making?
Nope. Cooperage.
Cooperage.
So if you're a barrel maker, that means you are a
Cooper?
Exactly. This guy's smart.
It's good. It's the whiskey.
Always makes you smarter.
All right. Don't. Yep. That's not a lie. That's so apparently, like we were just talking about. I say apparently a lot, which I just realized I said. Apparently, there is a barrel shortage, and how do we fix it though?
Well, that's the thing.
How do they fix it?
It's funny because I've seen conflicting, like saying that there is white oak shortage, but some places say there isn't.
Yeah, I read that too. I read that today as well.
That that it's there, it's just not harvested. They don't have, like you said, they don't have loggers. But I think that's changing because obviously, with the increase, demand increases, prices go up. So now more people are getting into being coopers or cooperage.
Right.
But that's another interesting thing that I found out also is that people are like, oh, the one that was, I think it was Black Swan Cooperage. They had a lot of people come and tour their facility and because they wanted start their own cooperage.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the tour, they're like, yeah, I think I'm good.
Oh,
because yeah, because you can't go to Home Depot and buy what you need to make a barrel.
Right.
Because you know what all the wood slats are called to make a barrel up?
I don't.
They're called staves.
Okay. I actually watched a video when doing the research about it. It's not an easy process.
Well, right, because
as far as banging the metal rings down and you have to shrink it and then hit it more and it's pretty. It's a neat process.
Yeah,
though.
each board has to be milled, because they all have to fit together. They put them in a ring. Like you and I obviously both watch watch videos on it.
It's not like you can use wood glue on it either.
No, no, right. You can't do that.
So, do you think, in your opinion, the price of whiskey or bourbon is going to go up since there's a shortage in barrels?
Well, of course.
Because I read somewhere that a lot of these companies are saying that they'll pay more for the barrels just so that they can get the barrels.
Oh, well, right. Well, there's another thing that in my research.
Jump the line almost,
Well, right. There's a where was it? There was a craft spirit conference. And this guy was giving a lecture on on staves and bungs.
The bunghole.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you got to cover your bunghole.
You do.
Right.
The bung. You got to hit it real hard.
Oh, yes, you
with
do.
The wooden hammer.
Make sure.
Is that wooden hammer called the bunghole hammer?
I have no idea. My research. I have not researched the hammer. So
you have
the bunghole
you got to hammer the bunghole with a wooden hammer.
Right. But
all right. That's all right. Sorry.
Yeah, he's off track.
Yeah, I'm super mature.
But so when I finished, he was doing a lecture on staves and bungholes or bungs, and he knows that the room was full, 100 people, crammed. He's like, I've never had this many people, want to know what I'm doing.
Right.
And they found out, it wasn't because they want to know about what staves and bungs. They wanted to know, hey, where can I get barrels from? They thought they was
right.
if you're talking about staves, and, you must know where we can get barrels from. And so I thought
he was just a cooper, then.
Well,
or not just a cooper. I'm
say.
assuming it's a.
I mean, obviously he must have been if he was talking about it. He knew something about it. But another interesting thing is that the shortage led to new developments. I don't know if you've seen that. And new developments in the.
As far as how to make them.
And because maybe you can make it without the barrel.
I did see that. Yeah, right. They're doing it's called instant whiskey or something.
Right. Well, so out of barrel aging.
It just doesn't sound right.
Well, using light and sonic vibrations.
Blackened,
right? Yeah, sonic vibrations. Dave Pickerel, that guy, he's all over it.
He's all over the place.
And that's another thing, but mentioning Dave again, is that he was he was an advocate of pushing rye and like pushing the craft whiskeys, like a little bit more expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
like you got to paying for it. Like you take the time, making a better whiskey, more handcrafted, and raising the prices a little bit.
So could you and I get a group of whiskeys that we like or bourbons that we like, and make our own blended whiskey or bourbon by just blending? Is that technically a craft bourbon or craft whiskey?
See, I'm thinking no. I may be wrong, but I'm thinking no, because I think that you need to give, because it's straight, and straight cut means like that's.
Oh, okay, right.
So you have to get it right from the barrel before they cut it.
Right. Yep. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I think that they must get it and then blend it from there, and then I don't know.
Then cut it.
Yeah. I mean, do they use their own barrels then? I don't know if Jefferson's, do they use their own barrel to age it in then? If they get these different, or they just use the different.
I would assume so. Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not sure.
Have to call Trey up and ask him.
Yeah.
We'll have to find out.
Badass grandmother. Or great eighth generation badass grandmother.
If you can catch her.
Yeah, if you can catch her. Well, we forgot to mention the different varieties of Jefferson too.
Oh, yeah.
Which I just, since we were just talking about that.
Yeah, let's do it.
They have a Jefferson small batch, which is what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson's Reserve. Is this? Time out. Is this the? When we had Woodford one time, and is this the Reserve that came from? No, maybe that was 17. Never mind. I went on a tangent. So we got. Never mind. We got Jefferson Small Batch, which is this one. Yep. Jefferson's Reserve, Jefferson's Presidential, Jefferson's Ocean, which I really want to try because it's kind of cool backstory. Mm-hmm. Jefferson's Collaboration, and Jefferson's Rye.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So the cool thing, like I just said, the cool thing about the Jefferson's Ocean is that they put it on a. Well, we talked about that already.
6 months out of sea.
Put it in and float around.
Yeah.
Which I want. Yeah, I would love to have that job. So you ready for the final go here and final thoughts, and we'll have
even though you
Chris
cheated?
Here sign us off. I know I cheated. I was thirsty, but I didn't smell it though, so it doesn't count.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers. It has changed though.
Mm-hmm.
I smell raisins, almost like a raisin with sugar in it.
What?
Like it reminds me of, when you were a kid, did you ever put sugar on your Raisin Bran?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That sugar, like a raisiny sugar, that's what it smells like. Well, that's my first actual real nosing.
Yeah, like you have to look it up, and then find out there's no raisins in it.
Yeah,
or,
probably not.
There's chock full of raisins. 2 scoops of raisins, right?
2 scoops. Mm-hmm.
No, I like it. I like
the last one the best.
Yeah, with the full melt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, tamed down the spice.
Yeah.
I think
big time.
Yeah, really mellowed it out. Made it easily drinkable.
Yeah. So what would you rate this 1 out of 5? We've been doing 1 out of 5, so we'll stick with that.
1 out of 5. Oh, I'd probably give this, probably about a 4.
Yeah?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
That's pretty high up there.
Yeah.
I'd do like a 3.5.
Okay.
Yep. I like it.
That's fair.
I like it, but it's not one of my favorites, but I wouldn't pass it up, that's for sure. But a 3.5 I think is a pretty decent.
Oh yeah. No, that's not that's good.
Yeah. So any final thoughts, anything?
No, I think that's it. I think we covered it.
All right, cool. I'm gonna finish mine. You sign us off.
All right. So, may the wind always sway your hammock, and may your glass never go dry. Cheers.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah, that was good.
Whiskey in a hammock. Whiskey in a hammock.